Hello everyone, welcome to Abhyaas. Today we are going to discuss about the union budget which was presented in the first day of February. So as you know, for your competitive examinations, for your interview especially, as you are preparing for IPMAT, so budget questions on budget is very much important. So in this session, we will discuss in detail which is required for your interview prep regarding the budget aspect. And the main pointers which I am going to deal now is that, please keep in mind, this is the second ever budget released on Sunday. Generally, budgets will be released in a table in the parliament on working days, but this is the second budget released on Sunday. The first ever budget released on Sunday by Yashwant Sinha and Nirmala Sitharaman became the second person to release it on Sunday. And one more important aspect is that this is the first ever budget prepared in the new parliament building called Kartavya Bhavan. So there is a separate building developed for this preparation of budget, and this is the first ever budget prepared in that particular building. And in this discussion with us, we have a colleague, Mr. Venkatesh, who is also joining in discussing about the budget. So Venkatesh, you can join with us.
Yeah, thank you, Sai Krishna. So today we are going to discuss about the budget. We are going to discuss about all the important pointers, which sector is going to get what, all these things we are going to discuss. So students, do pay attention. So it's going to be helpful for your interview, for your exams and all these things. So do pay attention, because budget as a document shows the path for the country for the next 1 year with regarding the financials, different sectors, which segment of society is going to get what and all these things. So do pay attention for the next proceeding slides and all that, so that you will get good idea about the budget of this year.
And also, Venkatesh, this year budget has a lot of importance because recently, if you have observed, there's a lot of international pressure. A lot of geopolitics are going on, like Trump is putting a lot of pressure in tariffs. New tariffs are increasing day by day, and the gold prices and silver prices skyrocketed, and it is unable to captured by the middlemen, so middle class people actually. And there's a lot of pressure from international oil, purchasing oil, etc., etc. So in this context, we have to see how our government is effectively dealing to reduce pressure on the people and to take economy to the forward.
Exactly. See, even all the commentaries on the budget, they are highlighting this point, Krishna, that how the country is going to be navigated amidst all these geopolitical, geoeconomic tensions and all that, because especially we all know, because of Trump and all that, there's a lot of uncertainty in the international market. So stock markets were not at all performing well.
Yes, exactly.
People were going back to, as you said, to the bullion, to the gold, silver and all that, because it's an indicator. When people are investing only in metals, it's an indicator that they don't have confidence in the economy.
Exactly.
And all these things. So amidst all these challenges, so this budget, actually we have to say that it was good. It was great actually. So it has steered our economy amidst all these uncertainties in a well-fashioned, in a well-balanced fashion. So catering to different segments of the society.
Yeah. So let us have a look into the insights of how our economy is faring and what are the steps taken by the government, how governments are going to address all these things. So first, we have the numbers here. So the total budget outlay for this year, so it is around 53.47 lakh crore. This is one of the highest ever outlay by the central government. And
if you look at the fiscal deficit target of the GDP and all that, so 4.3%, actually government is very particular. If you look at especially this government, Narendra Modi's government, it's very particular about fiscal deficit aspect. So they want the fiscal deficit to be reduced anyway. So 4.3 next year, they want to take it to 4 and all that. So they are very particular about it. That's the reason why you don't see any spending spree as such.
Yeah.
Because they are very particular. You can say in a way, they have a conservative outlook towards deficit. They want to reduce it.
Yes, and basically for your convenience, fiscal deficit is nothing but the gap between the expenditure and the revenue. So when the expenditure is more and revenue is less, that is called the deficit. And in this case, government is trying to reduce the deficit. Yes. So it is trying to reduce to 4.3.
Yes, and one more important indicator, how can we adjudge a budget, is this thing. So capex. See, capex is something that is going to capital expenditure,
Yeah.
is something that's going to invest in our future. It can be the railways, it can be the highways, it can be the ports, it can be technology and all these things.
Yeah.
So capex indicates how well we are spending on the future instead of the revenue expenditure.
and
as such.
most importantly, the development of a country depends on the more you are going to spend on the capital expenditure, because we have two types of expenditure, revenue and capital. Generally, revenue expenditure, we don't think it is going to produce more and more amount of GDP, but capital expenditure, one thing which can multiply the GDP.
Yes.
So in this case, we have seen 12.22 lakh crore allocation. That means last year it is around 10.5. This is 12.2, which is a growth of 9%. So government is ready to increase more and more expenditure on the capital expenditure, which can increase the revenue.
Yes.
And finally, now this year government has said they are focusing on 3 kartavyas. Kartavya 1, 2, 3. Kartavya means the duty of the government. So the entire budget, entire annual financial statement is focused on 3 kartavyas. First kartavya 1 is that taking sustainable economic growth for the country. Second kartavya is aspiring people, what government can do for people's aspirations. Third kartavya is for Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And all the schemes will fall in these kartavyas.
In these 3 kartavyas, they'll fall in this bracket. So the thing is, basically, inclusively, we have to grow by taking along all the sections of the society.
Yeah.
So we should not neglect agri, we should not neglect manufacturing, services, and all that. So taking all these things into consideration, this budget is presented. And now, Sai Krishna, I think we have to get into the top
key takeaways of the budget. So we can see here the first key takeaway, like we have made entire things into 5 to 10 major points. Let's see, the first point is that government is spending a massive spending on infrastructure. Like we have seen, capital expenditure has increased to 12.2%, 12.2 lakh crores, which is 9% increase over previous year. So what comes under this infrastructure thing? So government is spending on railways, in promoting the railways. Government is spending on promotion of roads, highways. Government is spending on buildings, dams, etc.
So as we go ahead, we will be looking at high-speed rail corridors. We will be looking at agri-stack.
Exactly.
We will be looking at city economic regions, orange economy, and all such things.
Yeah.
So all these things, they get included in this massive infra push that's happening with that 9% growth over the last year.
Yes.
So all these things, you will be looking at the details in the next slide.
We will look into detail of each and every aspect. So second point is that reduction of fiscal deficit to 4.3%. Generally, if you increase spending, deficit will also increase. But in this case, government is trying to increase the spending and reduce the deficit by collecting more revenues. So we will see all these things in the coming slides.
See, the thing is here is, government has streamlined things in such a way that the revenue gaps which were earlier there, they are not present now.
Yeah.
For example, earlier there used to be a lot of reduction in the sales tax aspects and all that. Now with GST, new regime, reduced rates, so mandatory GST registrations, incentivizing the GST collections, all these things, they have fixed the gaps which were there in the revenue streams.
Yeah.
Even income tax filings, they have become easy. All these things, they have made government so they have enabled the hands of government to generate more revenue so that they can spend at the same time maintain fiscal discipline.
Exactly. So that is what our third point, new income tax act, which is going to be effective from April 1.
Yes.
So in this new income tax act, government has reduced all the loopholes, majority of the loopholes, which can enhance people to pay the taxes, so that the government is going to reduce the number of cases, going to simplify the tax articles, sections, etc.
Exactly. See, tax related litigation is one such a big headache for our country. For a growing economy and all that, taxation related litigation should not be a hindrance.
Yeah.
So we have to reduce the litigation in that aspect. Even earlier with GST there, now largely they have come down. So the same thing they want to do with the income tax also.
Earlier it was so complicated that we need to go to a tax consultant or a chartered accountant to file our income tax details. Even if you did a minor mistake, we will be getting a notice from the income tax department. But now we assume that government is eliminated all this system.
Yes.
By simplifying the things.
And next important thing, India Semiconductor Mission 2.0, and we all know our lives are filled with digital goods, vehicles and all that. So for everything, from our smartphone to our EV to everything, our cameras, anything. So you have to deal with semiconductors.
Yeah, it is a semiconductor is nothing but a chip which is inserted in the electronic device to function efficiently. But thing is, India has not developed the manufacturing of semiconductor sector till now. So what happens? The 90% of the market is by is with Taiwan. So we need to rely on Taiwan, or we need to rely on China for processing, or we need to rely on USA for designing.
Yes.
So now with this ISM sector, ISM mission, government tried to reduce the dependency so that self-sufficiency will increase.
See, the thing is that there is a brief background to it. Semiconductor mission 1 also happened.
Yes,
and that happened under the PLI scheme, Product Linked Incentives scheme and all that. So PLI scheme for semiconductor is a good hit actually. So we could reduce our import dependency and all these things, and we could become sustainable. See, this is not just for the economy, even from strategic perspective, semiconductors and their role plays a crucial role. So we need to reduce the dependency on the outside parties, and we are largely successful under the PLI scheme, Semiconductor Mission 1 and all that. So taking that good spirit ahead, this budget has started India Semiconductor Mission 2.0. So moving up the value chain with incentives for equipment manufacturing, creation of full stack, homegrown intellectual property. Yeah, this is key point.
Key point. Intellectual property right is a key point. So that other countries can depend on us, and we can reduce dependence on us. And this generation of artificial intelligence, we require more servers, for which in the background we require more number of semiconductors. And this mission is going to solve all these issues.
Yes.
And the fifth important point is global data center tax holiday. That means government has announced that if any foreign company enters into India and provides services by using Indian cloud servers, that means instead of using their hometown servers, if they come to India and using our servers, then government has going to cut the taxes on those companies for the next 21 years till 2047. So government is removing the taxes. It is encouraging foreign companies to come to India and use our servers, so that back end we will be getting investments and we will be getting lot of employment opportunities. So and our economy will be increasing, because India is dependent on service sector.
Yes.
So 50% of our GDP based on services. So in this aspect, if you encourage more foreign companies to come to India, automatically that problem can be eliminated, and more number of job opportunities can be come to Indians.
Yes, exactly. See, the new gaming and everything, they require data centers.
Yes, exactly.
So all the to get into the next level, we need data centers.
Yes.
High speed internet connectivity, everything. So it depends, and it's a good step actually, futuristic step.
Yeah.
There are other pointers which we need to take from this particular budget. See, if we look at Biopharma Shakti scheme.
Yes, exactly. Biopharma Shakti. As we know, during the COVID, what has happened?
Yes.
Because we need to depend on other countries to do a lot of R&D on developing a vaccine and importing that technology, and we have manufactured in India. But what if we support our own manufacturers to do R&D in India?
Yes.
So in that aspect, government has taken a step to promote some 10,000 crores for the next 5 years to develop a lot of research in biologics and biosimilars, which is different from generic drugs again. Exactly. So we will discuss in detail.
And plus this Biopharma Shakti scheme, it includes starting 3 new NIPERs. So NIPER means National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. So these 3 new NIPERs, so they are going to help us to become, as you said, so we will be having our intellectual property rights. So we need not depend on others. So we are not going to be the just generic drug producer as such. We are going to do something original for the world. Plus like for India, of course.
AIMS is for medical MBBS students. NIPER is for pharma students. So by establishing new pharmaceutical institutions, so we are indirectly encouraging many students to come and study this pharmacy sector and develop the medicines.
And related to this particular pharma and all that, this budget has got another relief for cancer patients.
Exactly.
So the budget exempted basic custom duties on 17 life-saving drugs, 17. So primarily for cancer treatment. It also added 7 rare diseases to the list of medicines exempt from import duties.
Exactly. So what happens generally, because our country is depending more on generic drugs which are very cheap in nature, But because of lack of proper intellectual rights for the R&D medicines, we need to depend on other countries for importing the cancer drugs.
Yes.
So now the cancer is a non-communicable disease which is spreading, increasing its numbers. So
lifestyle aspects and everything are contributing to this particular.
So, but to cure that cancer again, we need to purchase medicine which is very costly. Like one particular tablet around is 4,000, 40,000, 50,000 also. So, but many people in India, see, if you look into the per capita income, people cannot able to afford. There is a statement saying like many people are in the verge of poverty just if you hospitalize on one day.
Exactly.
So if you are hospitalized by any reason, it will take a lot on our economy, on our expenditure. So if you reduce the import duties on drugs, of cancer drugs, automatically the amount which we need to pay will be reducing, and it will support the lifestyle of the people.
Yes, exactly. And see, apart from these things, there are other important things also we need to discuss. See, for example, infrastructure risk guarantee fund.
Yes, exactly.
So this new fund will be established to provide partial credit guarantee to the lenders. So this is designed to lower the risk of private investors during the construction phase of large infrastructure projects. See, remember, in our country, especially in any country, infrastructure projects, they do take a lot of time. The gestation period for an infrastructure project, it ranges from 2 years to 7 years. So in this context, any lender who has to spend money on who has to lend money for an infrastructure company and all that, he requires some amount of guarantee. So these safeties need to be created. See, an economy is judged on the basis of how many safety layers they are creating for investors, participants, employees, every segment. See, from top to bottom in the entire food chain of the economy, you need to provide safety layers for every segment. It's not that I'll only provide safety layer to the lowest section, I'll leave the top. No, if you leave the top section, so who will generate employment as such? So in this context, infrastructure risk guarantee fund, a safety layer to the lenders, is a very important step, because we are going to take this massive infra push.
Actually, it is supporting two different kinds of. One is infrastructure, which is secondary. Another is banking services. So with single scheme, government is trying to address the issues of two. If you take the example of metro rails, so which will from the initiation stage to the final stage, it will take around 10 years of time.
Exactly.
So all these 10 years, that lender has to depend on the bank, and bank has to support. It will take people's money to give the loan. By any reason, if the company which has constructed the metro, if they are in losses, again they can't pay to the bank can't pay to the people. So here government is stepping in.
Yes.
So it is asking the bank to lend to the private companies, so that government is a guarantor. So if private company is unable to pay, government is there to support.
Yes, this fund will support the banking system too.
Yeah, so it is giving confidence to the banks to lend more and more amount people
to the people who are investing in or lending to the infra companies.
Exactly.
Yeah. And one more, in addition to this infra push and all that, so we can see one more important step announced in this budget: city economic regions, especially for tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So 5,000 crores per region. So they are earmarking to transform these cities into regional growth hubs. And here the key takeaway is tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Generally what happens, tier 1 city means our urban clusters like metros, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, etc. So generally most of the investments will be in tier 1 cities, which is increasing the congestion in the cities.
Exactly.
Actually. So it is pulling the crowd from villages to the cities. So if you focus on tier 2 and tier 3, which is villages or semi towns like that, then automatically infra will be increasing. People won't migrate to other places. It will reduce the congestion on cities actually.
And one more thing we need to keep in mind is, many states actually, for example, Gujarat is already a 50% urbanized state. Tamil Nadu is almost on the verge of it. Maharashtra on the verge of it. Telangana is on the verge of it. So in this context, when urbanization by 2040 or so, in the coming 15 years or so, 50%, 55% of India will be living in urban areas. So in this context, it is very important to develop the tier 2 and tier 3 level cities and to absorb the pressure. Actually, that's there on this, as you said, growth poles.
Hyderabad,
Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore and all these cities. So developing infra, developing these areas into city economic regions as such. So this provides what you can say the very essential aspect of regionally balanced growth, regional balance in the growth aspect and all that. It's important from political perspective, social perspective, and every other perspective.
Yes. And anyway, all the people who are living in urban areas are coming from the semi-towns. That means talent is there in the towns.
Exactly.
But we are not providing them an opportunity in their place. So now government is providing them opportunity. So from your place, develop the things which you can do, so that we are there to support you.
In terms of highways, in terms of internet connectivity, in terms of any other support. These 5,000 crores allocation for tier 2 and especially tier 3 cities, 5,000 crore allotment is really a game changer as such.
And it is also proved a efficient one during COVID indirectly. Like software employees went home and they have done work from home. So from the convenience of their hometowns only they started working, and it generated a lot of revenue for the companies as well. So this can be indirectly assumed in that way.
Yes. And next, very important strategically in the context of geopolitics and geoeconomics is the new rare earth corridors. So new rare earth corridors, they are coming up in the states of Orissa, Tamil Nadu, AP and Kerala. And we all know, so in the context of, you have seen Trump speaking and all that, why China has got that weight, why Australia has got that weight in the geostrategic aspects. It is because of the rare earth metal processing they do. They export a lot of rare earth metals, which are very crucial in space missions, defense and many other sectors, even EVs and everything. So in this context, India is very particular about developing its own rare earth corridors, and this budget has made an outlay for that particular thing. Especially states like Orissa, they have got rare earth metals. So you might be looking in news also, even Russian representatives, they visit Russia at Orissa at times. So all these things, they do happen. So in this context, developing them, processing them in our country and using it for our own selves, and if necessary exporting them to our friendly nations. So this is going to be a real game changer in the defense space, aerospace sector. And
one more important thing is that India is the 5th largest resource for rare earth metals. But the thing is, we don't have a technology to process.
Exactly.
We have the rare earth minerals with us, but if you can able to develop the processing aspect, then obviously it will be a game changer. We need not rely on China. We need not rely on other countries, Australia, etc., etc.
So this is the thing. Especially the focus is on, as you said, processing and refining.
Yeah, processing and refining.
Yes. So, and next important thing is digital economy, AI and quantum focus.
Yeah. So now we have seen, now everyone is using ChatGPT, Perplexity.
Exactly.
So now it is a revolution of AI in nowadays. But the thing is, if you don't know how to use all these things, if you're still using like a Google search, it is not supportive in the daily life.
Exactly.
So focusing on R&D on these AI and developing the servers by supporting the funds. So the AI revolution can be from India itself.
Yes.
So now the ChatGPT and Google Gemini is from other countries. If you support the R&D, definitely the next AI, super AI can be from India.
So in this context only, government has allotted 900 crores for the National Quantum Mission.
Yeah.
See, quantum mission is important to do the speed calculations and everything.
Like supercomputers.
Supercomputers and all that. So all these things, they are very much necessary to develop any kind of next gen technology.
Yeah.
So for example, we are now trying to develop a fighter craft engine. We are now trying to develop aerospace industry, drone, many things. So for all these things, quantum is very important. This very speed amount of calculation. So
several complex calculations has to be done.
So going beyond the binary and all that, you all know. So the quantum aspect and all that. So 900 crores allocation is done for this National Quantum Mission. So which is going to aid our AI and quantum aspect. So which is going to be a game changer in fintech, edutech and many other
things. This is the first step in that direction. This is not the final thing.
Fine. Yeah, very basic we have to say.
Yeah.
And next, high-speed rail and freight corridors.
So see, we what we can see, in growth of a country depends on the transportation sector. So because mines, availability of minerals and mines is in one place, but development is happening in
this context, I would like to add one point. The US president used to say one thing, one of the US presidents.
Yeah.
USA is rich. It's not that USA is rich and it has got good roads and railways.
Yeah.
It is the other way around.
Yes.
Because USA has got good roads and railways, USA is rich.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
If you take the example of African countries, they have lot of resources, but the thing is, these are the infrastructure deficit countries. So if they have infrastructure, proper infrastructure, road and railway connectivity, obviously it will support in transportation of goods and it will generate revenue. So that is the reason why government is coming up with new railway connected corridors, etc. And so here the railway is trying to connect east to the west, like from Dankuni in the West Bengal to Surat in the Gujarat. So and along with this, railways has come up with 7 corridors which is connecting Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Varanasi, and Varanasi, Siliguri. So that means entire India is got connected with this new railway network as dedicated for freight, not for passengers, only for transportation of goods, so that speed and efficient supply will be there.
See, the thing is that how the railway economics work is, see, railways, they get revenue and all that because of freight. It's not because of the passengers. Actually, passengers are a kind of burden on the railway transport. So we take a lot of subsidy from the railway transport aspect and all that. It is the freight that develops railways, and in turn, railways are the thing that develop these sectors.
Yes, exactly.
So the freight aspect, the logistics, everything, the mining sector and any industrial activity and all that. So freight corridors are the requirement of the day, because we have surplus in some areas, we have deficit in some areas.
Yes.
Some areas are industrially developed, some areas are mineral rich, agri rich and all that. In this context, so we need this high speed rail and freight corridors. So they are going to be a very good step ahead with regarding connecting the country and all these things.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So next, support for MSMEs, SME Growth Fund.
Yeah.
10,000 crores.
So as we see, in India, we have 90% of the industries falls under this category, MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises. So we have large enterprises where we have very few, like Reliance and Adani Group, etc., etc. But 90% of people depends on this MSMEs. So if you support the working of micro, small and medium industries, they will generate lot of employment opportunities. Like micro is nothing but the companies which are in villages, like it can be BD manufacturing companies, it can be sari making companies, or it can be agriculture, any agriculture aspect also. So if what is the problem for them? Lack of proper lending. So if you support them through lending, like risk guarantee measures or giving direct money to them, so obviously they will take the country forward. Like they will increase the economy by providing lot of employment opportunities.
See, the thing is that you think for yourself. See, what is the share of MSMEs in the GDP? What is the share of MSME in the employment? And what is the share of MSME in the bank credit? If you look at these 3 parameters, bank credit is very low.
Yeah.
Whereas the share of them in employment generation, the share of them in the GDP contribution and all that is very high. This mismatch is a very, very bothering thing. So when we can address this mismatch, it means our country will definitely progress ahead with regarding more and more entrepreneurs will be created and all that.
And that too, India is the first highest populous country in the world.
Yes.
And to support this population, we require more manufacturing sector rather than services sector.
And all.
Because the one sector which can support any number and any amount of population is manufacturing. But in India, what happens? Manufacturing is in second place. So services in the first place, agriculture is for third place, manufacturing second place. If you support this sector, the GDP will drastically increase.
Yes. See, that's the reason why 10,000 crores is being allotted SME Growth Fund. So to scale up the MSMEs to the so-called champion scale and all that. And one more important step the government has taken is that the TREDS platform, which is there for MSMEs, they have made it mandatory for the central public sector enterprises to enroll themselves in the TREDS platform and give orders to MSMEs.
Yes, exactly. Government will support public sector companies only when they take certain amount of their products from the MSMEs.
Yes.
So that indirectly government is purchasing from these people. So they are encouraging through subsidies and they are encouraging through purchasing also. So which in turn promoting the supply demand capabilities.
And next important step, coastal cargo promotion scheme. So aiming to double the share of coastal and inland shipping to 12% by 2047. So and plus 20 new national waterways to be developed in the next 5 years to reduce transportation costs. See, remember one thing. our country, it has got almost 10,000 kilometers of coastal line. Plus, we have got lot of rivers within our territory. But in spite of all this, the share of waterways in our country, it can be the coastal, it can be the inland and all that, it's very low. It can different reasons, seasonal rivers, so not focusing on the coastal aspect and all that. So we don't have that capability, even small countries like South Korea and all that have got. So in this context, government is very consistently doing this. Sagarmala project, if you take, 5 national waterways if you take, and now 20 national waterways in the coming 5 years. So all these steps are being taken to develop the so-called water transport aspect as such. This is important because if you spend almost like 5 rupees on road transport, 3 rupees on rail transport, so it will take only 1.5 rupee on the waterways. So this is important because one important key takeaway here is that, see, logistics cost of our country is at 14%, whereas other OECD countries, the logistics cost is at 6%. So this logistics cost component in the total production cost, it is very high in India.
Yeah.
We need to bring down this from the 14% to at least 7-8%,
yes, exactly,
to be competitive in the world. Otherwise, what people would think, in my product cost, 14% is going to this transportation aspect,
yes,
logistics and all that. Whereas in other countries, I'll spend only 6 rupees, 6%. Yes. So this gap is something which is bothering and we need to reduce it. National waterways, this entire coastal cargo promotion scheme and all that, this plays important role in bringing down that logistics cost.
Yeah. Generally what we think, shipping means we think from India to other countries or other countries to India, exports and imports we think. But if you utilize the rivers which is available in India, because there are most of the rivers connecting more than 2 to 3 states. If you take the example of Ganga, Godavari, Krishna, all these rivers will connecting some 4 to 5 states. So if you develop these for transportation purpose, automatically the supply chain will be increasing, logistic cost will automatically decreasing.
Yes. So now, as we have seen the 3 kartavyas, people's aspiration, inclusive development,
and sabka saath sabka vikas,
and all that. So in this context, so these 3 kartavyas, they get distributed across the 3 sectors. Economy will have primary, secondary and tertiary sectors. Primary sector, agriculture, fisheries and all these things, they come under it. Secondary,
manufacturing, etc. And tertiary is services oriented.
Yes.
So though we have quinary sector, etc., but all these can be falling as service sector. So let us see the highlights of this primary, secondary and tertiary sector. So in the primary sector, so the government, the budget is 1.6 lakh crore exclusively for the development of this agriculture and allied activities. So in that direction, the first step is that Bharat Vistar project. So it is like connecting the Bharat Vistar project. It is like expansion of e-Nam, like a single channel where the agriculture producers as well as receivers will be getting the data of each and every aspect of agriculture. Suppose take the example of rice. So you can get the inputs, how rice can be grown, where is the demand, how what is the climatic conditions, whether we can grow it now or not. So each and every aspect related to growth, and after cultivation, where you can sell, where is the price, where is the high demand, where is the low demand. Each and every aspect can be getting from one single portal, Bharat Vistar scheme.
See, the thing is that you can see ICAR integration also, along with that cost aspect and all that. ICAR integration is important because, see, remember, subsidies and all that with regarding agriculture, they would increase the income of farmer only to a certain level, 30%, 20%, that's it. But if you invest in R&D, if you integrate with ICAR and other such organizations, if you integrate this entire thing into AI and all that, and provide proper inputs to the farmer, how to grow, what to grow, when to grow, where to grow, everything. So this would increase the income of farmer up to 160-200%.
Yes, exactly.
Research has proven that. Green Revolution has proved that in our country. So this project is going to be a very good thing because people are now becoming aware. Even the rural penetration of smartphones and all that has
increasing day by day.
Increasing. So in this context, if you integrate, if you clearly provide farmers the information, so where, when, how, what, the wherewithal and all that, so this can improve the entire, and the wastage aspect, loss aspect, everything can be reduced.
And the good thing in this particular aspect is that if you don't know how to type, you can use it by voice commands. So in rural areas, many people don't know how to write. So what they can do is simply ask, like if you're asking the iPhone, hey Siri, give me the details. Similarly, in this particular scheme, the farmer can talk to the AI so that AI can give the reply.
Yes. And one more, next important step taken in this budget is high value crops, coconut promotion scheme, cocoa, cashew, sandalwood and all that. See, remember, any agriculture, the performance of agriculture, the growth of agriculture doesn't depend on food crops. Remember, see, the heavy growth of food crops in the agriculture sector is an indicator of reduced agriculture productivity over a period of time. So you need to diversify. The area under food crops production should come down as the technology is improving. Less area, more production. And use that rest of the area for high value crops.
Commercial crops, you can say.
Coconut promotion scheme, cocoa, you know, the chocolate companies and all that, they procure it. Cashew, sandalwood, agarwood, so walnuts.
So in the international market, these products have a lot of demand. But the thing is, supply is restricted. So if you reduce the usage of regular products and start improving the commercial crops, what happens? The supply will increase, and because India, we have lost a vast stretch of lands which is fertile in nature, we can use these for international markets, which in turn generates the revenue.
See, the thing is that this is all to develop the, or I can say increase the income of the farmers. As we have seen, Modi government from the beginning, they are saying doubling the farmers' income and all that. Ashok Dalwai committee and all that. So this scheme is a step toward in that direction, is a kind of next step. High value crops to be promoted, and especially this focus, cashew, sandalwood, agarwood, walnuts and all that. This promotion is going to be made more in hilly areas and also in northeast states, which are unexplored regions, which have fertile soils, which have the necessary human resources, but not given the necessary push from the side of the government.
We did not give any importance till now.
So those areas, they are going to have this, and we can see farmers having improved incomes in the near future.
And finally, supporting to blue economy. It is for supporting aquaculture. Like we have seen, we have 10,000 kilometers of coastline. Almost 6 to 8 states are having a coastal region. So if you effectively utilize that coastal area for developing these fisheries or any aquaculture products, we can use it for exporting purpose, because in the international market, India's share is around 30 to 40%, if I'm not wrong. So if you support the farmers by supporting dedicated lakes for development of fishes or prawns or any other aquaculture activities, so definitely it will increase the growth of the particular state especially.
See, for example, states like Andhra Pradesh, they are heavily dependent on the aquaculture. In the entire country, share almost like 40-50% of the share is of Andhra Pradesh. So states like Orissa, West Bengal, even Tamil Nadu, they have lot of inland fisheries just like Andhra Pradesh. So all these states, they need that push, because this particular segment, it is high value thing. It has a lot of export value. If you look at the US export-import debate that was going on since last year, so even then this sector was the most affected sector because of Trump's uncertain policies. He said, we are going to stop shrimp and prawn imports from India. We'll do it from some other country of South America, Ecuador and all that. All these things were going on. In the given uncertainty they have faced in the last 1 year, 1-2 years. So this is a big relief for them actually, the fund push that's happening.
Till now what happens, this will be taken care by state governments or local district level. So if you got a support from the center itself, definitely it is a game changer aspect in terms of aquaculture.
This is the reason why Government of India, they have made a separate ministry for dairy development and fisheries. Earlier fisheries didn't even have a separate department. Now fisheries have got a separate department. The PM Matsya Sampada Yojana, all these schemes are there. They all come under this particular thing. So the push is going to take it to next level.
Next, coming to the secondary sector, manufacturing level. So we have discussed initially, government is focusing on ISM 2.0. So India Semiconductor Mission. Like till now we are depending on other countries for the supply of these semiconductors. Now government is dedicatedly supporting the fund, supporting the sector for design and processing as well as manufacturing of the semiconductors.
And next, biopharma Shakti. So we have already discussed it. Biosimilars, biologistics, all these things, they are going to come under this particular segment, and it generates a lot of value, lot of employment, everything.
And one basic difference between generic drug and a biologic is that in drugs, generic drugs, what we will be using two different chemical components to make one particular drug. But biologics is the medicine will be developed by using the live organisms like yeast or bacteria, something like that, which is useful for resolving the issues. So that is the difference between generic drugs as well as biologics. Now the focus is on biologics and biosimilars, which focuses on getting the produce from living organisms.
Yes. And next we have got container manufacturing scheme, which is going to have 10,000 crores. See here, the problem is that container manufacturing aspect, we are giving that push because there is a lot of import dependency in this particular sector, especially from China. So as the construction sector is increasing, as the exports are increasing, the entire logistics sector is developing and all that, containers, they play crucial role in this logistics and everything.
Actually, what happens, the condition till now is that there are hardly 3 to 4 players in the international market. Only they are supplying the containers, but every country depends on the containers for transportation of goods. So if you develop our own companies which can manufacture containers, so it is not only supporting directly for import and export for our country, we can also export these containers to other country for their export import purposes.
Yes.
So we have Container Corporation of India in this aspect now. So government is encouraging other companies to invest in this containers.
In this container aspect. Next, National Fiber Scheme. See, under this National Fiber Scheme, we have got different components in it. You have the cotton aspect, you have the silk manufacturers incentivization aspect, and one more thing is Mahatma Gandhi Gram Rozgar Yojana is also there, where the villages will get support with regarding handloom, khadi and other products. And plus one more thing is ODOP, one district, one product scheme. So this particular national fiber project that's taken up in this budget, it's going to see lot of verticals, the silk aspect, the cotton aspect, the villages aspect, the one district, one product program, everything are going to be integrated under this, and they are going to get that push because textile sector is one of the top 3 employment generators in our country. Agriculture, construction sector, textile sectors, they are in the top 3 with regarding the number of employment they generate. So the necessary push is
textile is one of the sector which the importance of this sector is that it is one of the sector which attracted the Britishers to invade India.
Exactly.
Actually. So but the push we have which we need to give was not actually happened. So now government is focusing on this particular aspect also, and it is mostly going to support the Tamil Nadu and West
Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, these states.
And because
plus women are going to receive lot of support in this.
And one more important is that because of crisis in Bangladesh, the textile got lot of importance now. So now we are going to address the world supply chain also here.
And one more addition you can take is, already we have discussed the champion MSMEs, the MSME risk guarantee fund 10,000 crores. So again, this also falls under this manufacturing sector aspect, the MSME thing. Now moving to tertiary sector.
So in tertiary sector, service sector is one thing which you can increase your per capita income with single shot. So here government is focusing on youth and jobs here. The E3 committee, like education to employment. So now government is focusing on education infrastructure so that a proper quality education can lead to increasing the skill set of the people, so that the people can depend on themselves to earn the jobs. So here government is focusing on AI and green jobs in this particular budget.
And next, coming to the orange economy aspect, this is a kind of new term that got coined and that's in usage. Orange economy deals with the creative economy as such, the influencers part, the content creators part and all that. So it has become a very big thing in our economy. So now this orange economy, so it's going to have content creator labs in 15,000 schools and 500 colleges to boost animation, visual effects, gaming, AVGC sector. So this entire AVGC sector as such. So
These influencers play a crucial role in our daily day-to-day life. So nowadays everyone is an influencer.
Yes.
But now government is officially promoting this influencer aspect through content creator labs.
labs and all that. So this got a new shape in the form of orange economy.
Yeah. So we are formalizing the economy in this aspect.
Exactly.
And coming to the healthcare. So here under care and wellness sector, government is training 1.5 lakh caregivers under different aspects. It can be yoga, it can be geriatric, etc., etc. So because India is also famous for medical tourism. We are the countries where we are providing cheap medical services to other countries. So if you focus on this sector, if you train more and more nurses as well as doctors, so obviously the medical tourism will increase and it can increase the lifespan. Actually, so average expectancy can be increasing, the number of disease spreading will also decreasing.
See, the simple logic behind this entire thing is, this is the era of lifestyle diseases.
Yeah.
So more than the communicable diseases which used to dominate the 18th century, 19th, 20th century and all that, now it is all about lifestyle diseases. It can be diabetes, it can be blood pressure and other things. So in this context, more than doctors, who are required are paramedics. So paramedics, they get this training under this thing. Yoga. Now you can see in addition to it, 3 new All India Institutes of Ayurveda. So lifestyle aspect, it has gained lot of importance. So now people want to reduce their weight, people want to focus on their health, well-being,
most
mental
of the
wellness.
diseases are due to stress, work-related stress
and all that.
Yeah.
So in this context, this economy is going to see lot of boost in the near 5 to 10 years. And
earlier, it used to be because of unhygienic of the people. Now it is because of stress. So more stress and more new types of diseases. So to reduce all these things, focusing on daily yoga and supporting services definitely gives a good result.
So the training aspect is important. This is actually skill development. Yeah.
And coming to one more aspect of infrastructure, as we have seen, railway projects. So 7 new high-speed railway corridors and a Dankuni and Surat freight corridor, which is used for supply chain issues. And blue economy we have already discussed, and financing the infrastructure. So government is supporting the banks to take the risk so that banks will definitely get their money partially or fully.
And next, blue economy, you have got coastal cargo scheme. We have discussed 20 new national waterways. Already we have the 5 and all that. So in the coming 5 years, they want to develop 20 new waterways, target 12% shipping share. So shipping share of our country is very less when compared to, as I said, even small countries like South Korea, they have a very large share in the global market. So in spite of having lot of coast, lot of minerals and everything, we are not having that share. So we are targeting 12%, which is a practical target.
Yeah. If you compare the size of UK with India, so India is very huge compared to UK and largest economy also.
Yes.
But the thing is, world's largest container supply and shipping industry is with UK only.
Yeah. So in this context, this blue economy is going to reduce the logistics cost, provide the entirety, the infrastructure aspect. It gets that round off only with the coastal corridor aspect and the shipping industry aspect.
Yes. And coming to support the tech, already we have discussed the cloud tax holidays for companies. Like, see, you are using a WhatsApp or Chat GPT or Instagram, but all this data is maintained in servers in some other countries. So there are 2 different issues. One is that physical issue is that maintaining the server. Second issue is that who will control our data. So if it is not in India, our data is in the hands of other countries' jurisdiction. So with this cloud computing tax holiday, we are encouraging foreigners to come to India, use the data within Indian servers, so that our data will be governed by Indian laws, and the physical aspect we are taking care of. We have vast amount of land. So we are solving 2 issues of this tech industry.
Plus, you have seen recently, Google has decided to invest in Vizag.
Yeah.
So the Google data center is going to come up in Vizag. So we want more and more such data centers to come up, so that in association to that, the industry ecosystem would be developed around the city. So new gaming companies, so new software companies and all that, which requires high server performance and all that, they would come in and around that vicinity. So creating that ecosystem is important. That's the reason why we are going for that tax holidays and every other thing that's required for that data center aspect.
Yes.
And next we have got the Future Tech National Quantum Mission 900 crores, renewed AI push. As we have seen already, we moved beyond the binary calculations aspect. So complex calculations, very big calculations have to come up.
Indirectly supporting to supercomputers. Developing more
AI
supercomputers,
and all these
R&D.
things, which can process lot of data within seconds and all that. So this National Quantum Mission 900 crores is being, it's a step ahead, that's it. It requires a lot of push. When government steps in with hundreds of crores, thousands of crores, private investors would also come in. That's the reason why government steps in with lot of money. And now you can see in Amaravati, they are coming up with this Quantum Valley, and all these things are also coming up in our country.
And one important aspect is that all the supercomputers and support to supercomputers in other countries, the governments are giving, but the people who are working are Indians again.
Yes.
Half of the world's supercomputer R&D depends on Indian population. But if you develop the same in India, you can utilize 100% of Indian people here.
And next we have seen semiconductors. We have discussed it in detail, where semiconductors are used, why it is required, the PLI scheme which was earlier there, all these things we have seen. So semiconductor push is being made to reduce dependence on Taiwan, China and other such countries. Next, rare earth corridors, critical minerals, Odisha, Tamil Nadu for EVs.
So now because of electric vehicle boom, like scooters, from scooters to everything. So everything is linked to electronic components for which rare earth mineral is required.
Space missions, drones, everything.
Yeah.
So aerospace, aero defense and all that.
Healthcare, and we have seen the biopharma Shakti already discussed, and reduction of taxes on drugs we have already discussed in this case.
7 rare diseases and all. So strengthening economy, we can see regional growth, city economic regions and all that, 5,000 crores per region. See this, as we have discussed already, this is done specially for balanced regional growth. Balanced regional growth is important because we need to arrest the rush towards the tier 1 cities. So that's very much required because our cities are collapsing. You might be seeing Bangalore traffic is legendary. So there are many jokes about Bangalore traffic.
Bangalore, Mumbai and Delhi.
There are many jokes about Mumbai rains, the water clogging in Mumbai during monsoon and all that. So that situation, we can't, now it might be funny, memes and all that are coming up. In the next 10 years, we can't afford that situation.
And so, the best part here is that all these cities are developing in the railway corridors. So because we have a railway connectivity from north to south and east to west. So in these railway corridors, these hubs are going to develop. So the transportation issues are also resolved.
See, small businesses, again SME growth fund and all that. See, we are repeating these things so that you get an idea for strengthening economy, what are being done.
Under different sectors.
For strengthening infrastructure, what is being done. For strengthening health and lifestyle, what is being done.
So finally, fiscal anchor. So here, if you can see, the government is trying to reduce the debt to GDP by 50%. So actually what happens as per our FRBM rules, so we can maintain debt up to 60%. But here government is even reducing beyond that, because see, if your GDP is 100 and if your debt is 60, suppose, what do you mean by debt? We need to repay it back. So for the 100, if you are paying 60 back again it is a burden on people to pay more taxes. So what happens here, government is trying to reduce this debt so that burden on people also reducing, so they can start purchasing more and demand will be more, supply again it will support the GDP aspect.
Exactly. See, the thing is that as you said rightly, see, deficit financing, never assume that government is giving to people so it is getting into deficit, it's fine, people are getting money. No, again it's the people who have to pay it back. So deficit financing is a kind of indirect taxation. If a government is trying to reduce the deficit, if the government is trying to reduce the debt to GDP ratio, it's a good sign actually. It reduces the overall economic burden on the people, the amount of taxes they need to pay, the hidden inflation aspect, all these things they get addressed, and it's a right move actually.
And one more interesting point in this aspect is that if you can see, the world's largest economy is USA, but the world's largest debt payer is also USA. It has an economy, but still it has a debt also. Again, it has to be recollect from the people itself. So if you reduce the debt, people will be happy actually.
True.
And coming to the most awaited and important aspect for middle class people, for everyone, is that what is the tax component. So what is the how much amount of tax government is going to impose on people. So last year we have seen that government has reduced the taxes, like if your annual income is less than 12 lakhs, you need not pay any tax. Before that, it is hardly 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs. But last year, government has taken a huge relief to the people. Like if your salary is less than 12 lakhs, you need not pay tax. Similarly, this year also government continued with the same thing. And with added advantage is that in addition to 12 lakhs, extra 75,000 you can earn. That is part of standard deduction. So that means up to 12.75 lakh, you need not pay any tax. And nothing but simply continuing the previous policies.
So you can see the goal of the new income tax 2025, which is going to be effective from April 1, is simplify tax code and reduce the litigation aspect. As we discussed earlier, for any growing economy, very important thing is reduce the litigation with regarding taxation, because it would improve the revenue flow to the government, it would reduce the uncertainty in the minds of people, and it would improve the tax base, tax buoyancy. All these things they would improve with reduced litigation. So government is trying to move towards that direction.
See, the more you make it complex, people will run away from that. The more you make it simple, people will support the government. So here what government is doing, government is trying to simplify everything. So, and almost 80% of Indians earn less than 12 lakhs. So this is obviously supporting the middle class people of India. It is definitely a pro middle class budget.
So slabs, the structure remains largely same and all that compared to the previous.
So no special changes here, okay? And now from the revenue engine breakup, where the rupee comes from. So out of all the revenue government is getting, from which aspect, from which sector government is getting here. So if you can see, the largely the government 24%, the lion's share here is borrowings and liabilities. That means government will take loan from other countries, government will take loan from World Bank, or some other countries will pay. So here the government is getting the revenue, it has to pay back again.
Even it includes the T-bills, G6 and all this. Even people would be buying the government securities and all that. They too get included in this borrowings aspect.
So complete 24% of the revenue is from borrowings, and income tax, if you can see, 21% share is from income tax. And corporate tax 18%, especially from companies. It is from individuals, it is from companies. And GST and other taxes like fines, etc., 15%. And non-tax revenue 10%. Excise duty, customs combinedly falls remaining. That means here the major share other than the borrowings is that income tax. So income tax is having a huge revenue to the government. That's why government is trying to reduce more and making it simplify. If you make it more simplified, people will pay more taxes, which is supporting the government's expenditure aspect here.
So here non-tax revenue, it includes government income from public sector enterprises, mining licenses fee, and all such things they get included in this.
It can be government business activities like transportation, railways, and road transport, etc. And out of this revenue, where government is spending all this money? So the major share here is that state share. That means out of 100 rupees, 22 rupees is giving to states for their expenditure activities. So simply because government is in the center, states are depending on the center for some aspects. So government is giving 22 rupees separately. And remaining interest payments, like in the previous that we have seen, 24% is from borrowings. So government has to repay back. So 20 rupees from every 100 is going for interest. So if you reduce this debt, obviously this can be used for other aspects also.
See, and one more thing, that this we need not look at it completely negatively, because this interest payments, they include payments to our own people in the when we pay back for the government securities, like T-bills and all that.
Like government securities, government borrow from people itself, me and you can also invest with government.
So in this, some component it would circulate in our economy itself.
In our economy itself.
Next we have the central sector schemes. Central sector schemes, we know government has got, central government has to mandatorily provide. So share. So it 40, 50, 60, it depends. So depending on the state, depending on the conditions of the state and all that. So you have central sector schemes. So Manrega and all these schemes. So there are many other. See, central sector schemes, especially the issue is that in centrally sponsored schemes, central will have a share. In central sector schemes, central government has to spend totally.
100% is from center only.
Center only. For example, many immunization programs, they get covered under central sector schemes, where center has to spend 100% of the amount.
Yeah.
So they carry 17%, but they are essential for the future of our country, well-being and all that of the country.
If the best example is like Raitu Bandhu schemes of states, like central government is giving 6,000 annually per acre to every farmer. In addition to this, state governments are giving extra.
Yes.
But here the scheme started by the center but used by the states now. So generally what we think, center is not doing anything, only states are doing. But here back end center is supporting financially. So 17% of the overall share is going to the different schemes.
Yeah, and one more thing for the viewers, for the students, be clear on this aspect. Central sector schemes, totally center.
Yeah.
So, and they are directly beneficial to people like immunization program, health related and all that, and many infra projects too.
Yes.
And centrally sponsored schemes, there you get the state share and all that. So
Like-
these are two different things. Keep in mind, don't get confused.
Yes. And allocation to defense development or salaries to the defense person, like everything falls under 11%. Though this budget specifically did not mention a dedicated program for defense, but it's a recurring expenditure. So definitely every year government has to spend to develop the infrastructure, to give salaries, to give pensions, etc., etc.
So yeah, within budget, within the defense budget, there will be this revenue, capital
Yes.
aspect, long-term aspect, purchasing aspect,
Yeah.
how much is being spent on DRDO for research. So it gets distributed under different verticals within the defense ministry aspect.
But this is a major allocation. Out of every 100 rupees, 11 rupees is directly going to the defense itself.
Yeah, because India is in a very troubled neighborhood.
Exactly.
So we have a two-frontier problem with China,
Yeah.
with Pakistan, and now Bangladesh has also become troublesome.
Yeah.
So in this entire uncertain conditions, so defense from the beginning of our country's journey, so it takes it takes a major share of
We
our
need to spend a
resources.
lot on capex or infrastructure facilities for defense establishments.
And next you have the centrally sponsored schemes, 8%. So it is less compared to the central sector schemes because here you can see states stepping in.
Yeah.
So they do share some burden. So
Generally 40% of the central sponsored scheme is from states itself. So center will pay 60%, states will pay 40%. If it is a special state, center will give 90%, states will give 10%.
So most of the northeastern states, they pay only 10%, 90 because their budget capabilities are low. So 90% by the center in the centrally sponsored.
Remaining states, 60% is from center, 40% from states. 60
from
to
there.
40.
Yes. Next, we have different subsidies given, 6%. So different subsidies, they extend to many things for PLI schemes and all
it
these
can
things.
be subsidy on loan, it can be subsidy on cylinders, it can be subsidy on education, anything it can be.
Anything. And then you have pensions, 2%.
So before 2004, employees, those who joined before 2004, they will get pensions from the government without any contribution. So government has to keep budget aside to pay that pensions.
Yeah, because 2% is this CPS. Under CPS, employee would be contributing, government would also be contributing some amount. So in that way, so the pension burden is at 2%.
2%, yeah.
If it was old scheme,
It
so
is
it would
even
have been
more, even
much
more.
more. Yeah.
So, and finally coming to the numbers, summarizing the numbers, our total budget outlay this year expenditure is 53.47 lakh crore, which is one of the highest ever budget from the central government.
Next, we have the fiscal deficit thing. So this year the fiscal deficit is at 4.3%. So narrowed from 4.4. Next year the target is to reduce it to 4%.
4%.
It's an ambitious target to get it reduced by 0.3% within a year. But let's see.
Actually, it could have been even less, but because of COVID, our expenditure has drastically increased.
And one more thing is there is this GST rate cut.
Rate cut, yes. So because the revenue aspect of government has reduced to some extent because of extra reasons. So, but even in keeping that in mind, government is trying to reduce the targets and reducing the fiscal deficit every year.
Yes. And next we have capital expenditure. We have discussed it in detail.
Yeah.
12.22 lakh crores for different sectors and all that.
And net tax revenues from for the government is 28.7 lakh crores. So what do you mean net tax revenue? The receiving and outflow expenditure make 28.7 lakh crores.
So the thing is that GST, so even after rate cuts, GST in the last November, December and all that, they have registered 1 lakh crore per month collection. So in spite of GST rate cut,
Collection.
because of rate cut and all that, people have purchased a lot.
More, yeah.
Cars and all these things,
Yes.
high-end products actually. So because of that reason, we could register 1 lakh per month GST revenue collections and all that. So that's the reason why our tax receipts are at a healthy position.
Yes. Next, GDP growth 10%. So coming to compared to previous year, so our nominal GDP, that means what do you mean by nominal? We have eliminated the inflation aspect. So without inflation, our GDP has grown 10%. Again, it is because of reduction in GST, it can be of that. Yeah. So that means growing GDP is a better indicator. If you take the example of developed countries, they hardly register 2 to 3% annual growth. But here it is 10% annual growth.
Yep. Next, we have the debt to GDP ratio. Already we have discussed it. 55.6% estimated. So down from 56.1. So 55.6. It's a good sign.
And we are targeting it to 50 next year.
50 next year. So this is how we are progressing in terms of numbers.
So finally, the conclusion is that this budget is considered as a future ready budget. So this is for the development of entire nation in primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So all the AI related aspects have been covered, and medical related infrastructure bottlenecks have been covered. So if you can able to implement this properly, then definitely coming 5 to 6 years, we can see the Viksit Bharat.
Yeah. See, the thing is that this entire every country will have these targets and all that, right? So we have got this target of 2047. So now the period is referred to as the Amrit Kal. So we need to build the Viksit Bharat by 2047, 100 years of our independence and all that. China has got that vision. They have a vision 2049. So in the same way, we have 2047 vision.
Yeah.
So it's their 100 years. It is our 100 years.
Yeah.
So in this context, all these things, innovation, infrastructure, empowerment, tax reliefs, job creation, skill development and all that, fiscal discipline. So all these things together, so they'll take us towards the 2047 thing. And Krishna, tell me, what is your favorite part of this entire budget?
So my favorite part is that one thing is that supporting innovation, AI related aspects as well as the biologics aspect, because these are the two sectors where we are highly depending on other countries. So if you can reduce that, our import bill will be reducing, our rupee will be stabilizing. So indirectly it is supporting our purchasing power parity.
So my favorite area in this budget is city economic regions. So tier 2 and tier 3 cities getting the necessary boost, because the urban congestion aspect and all that, it's a big problem. Pollution, you can see the AQA aspect in Delhi and all that. So so government has taken a right step so towards investing in tier 2 and especially tier 3 cities, providing all the facilities and all that. My favorite part of the budget is this.
So with this, we hope all these steps which was announced by government will be taken in the right direction and implementing properly, so that we can see our future in a brightful manner.
Yeah. With this, we conclude. Sai Krishna Venkatesh from Abhyaas signing off.
Thank you.